What went wrong? Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0. One of the biggest results in English football of all time. Against your greatest rivals. Not the greatest of games I've ever watched as a Manchester United fan, but today we're going to look at the tactics around the game. We're going to take a look at some of the moves and some of the communication breakdowns Manchester United had, but also some of the poor individual mistakes. We're also going to dive into a little bit of Arsenal chat as well. They beat Bournemouth 3-2 at home to keep their title dream alive. Right, let's dive straight into the tactics of Manchester United's 7-0 defeat to Liverpool. So, just to take a look at the overall starting shapes and lineups, Manchester United went 4-2-3-1 with Wout Weghorst as a number 10, and Liverpool went with their traditional 4-3-3 that we expect to see under Jurgen Klopp. There were a number of issues with Manchester United's setup. The thing that I was speaking about in the Premier League preview on Friday was that United needed pace all through the front three positions. They needed Bruno Fernandes in number 10 to spray passes in behind the Liverpool high line. This didn't happen. Unfortunately, Bruno was pushed out to the left wing. Weghorst came to number 10. Rashford through the middle and Antony on the right. Again, this is something that Erik Ten Hag got wrong. Erik Ten Hag got a few things wrong, and this is the first thing that he got wrong. I think there needed to be more pace in that forward positions, but also needed quality at number 10 to feed those passes. The second thing that Erik Ten Hag got wrong in this game was going man-to-man with Liverpool in midfield. This created a really bad structural problem for Manchester United, where Cody Gakpo dropped off the line and had acres and acres of space in that false 9 position. Not only did he have acres of space in that number 10 area, but as Darwin Núñez at times moved into the number 9 area, he could freely drift in behind the fullback as Andy Robertson pushed forward into the final third. This is a big problem. Number one, Man United had no real defensive midfielder to screen the balls into Cody Gakpo. Liverpool's progression was so simple. Easy working through their diamond in midfield of Fabinho, Harvey Elliott, Gakpo and Jordan Henderson. That structure caused United so many issues. It's previously caused United issues. Jose Mourinho's done a similar job on Liverpool in previous games against Jurgen Klopp's sides, and they got embarrassed. This happened again. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got to a point where United actually dealt with Liverpool with a back three, with 2 in midfield and an attacking midfielder off 2 strikers. What that meant is you could pick up the false 9 into midfield, you can then go man-to-man. You're basically counteracting that diamond. This is something that Ten Hag needs to take into appreciation when playing Liverpool next time, and not going with the 4-2-3-1. What it meant for Manchester United is that Casemiro was getting pulled out of that stronger defensive midfield position, getting pulled into the wide areas. Not only that Liverpool pinned Manchester United's back four really well, with Darwin Núñez and Mohamed Salah playing high, which basically creates a real bad problem for United. Liverpool can easily progress a play, they can easily break through. This was a theme in the first half, and Manchester United actually played quite well in the first half, but it came to the 43rd minute where Liverpool took the lead, which really turned the game. So let's take a look at that goal in further detail. It starts with Alisson with the ball at his feet. Manchester United's structure is very, very open at this moment. We could see Marcus Rashford in the sort of striking position. We got Fred, Casemiro and Weghorst sitting in a midfield line, with Fred looking to pick up Jordan Henderson, Fabinho being picked up by Weghorst, and Casemiro in a super wide position picking up Harvey Elliott. The issues that this created for Manchester United is that Cody Gakpo, as you can see, is a free man in between the lines. This is not what you want to do against Liverpool. But also there's an out ball to Andy Robertson out wide. In the build-up to Alisson getting the ball, Marcus Rashford in fact pressurised Jordan Henderson. What Fred should have done in that move is read the tactical situation and drop deeper and look to pick up Cody Gakpo. That of course didn't happen. The ball got switched out to Andy Robertson. This is a situation that's been debated online. My take here is that Diogo Dalot is absolutely right to go out and close down the football. Going down, shut down the play, put some pressure on the ball, allowing one of his teammates, Fred in this instance, to fill in at right back. The issue that Manchester United had, not only did Diogo Dalot probably not get tight enough as he could have done to block the pass, but Fred's position in that sort of right back position was absolutely awful. We've got him as Andy Robertson's driving inside. Fred is very, very much caught watching the ball, doesn't know where Cody Gakpo is at all. He's not covering the central space in front of the defensive midfield area. Casemiro as well, because he's been pulled out wide by Harvey Elliott in the man-to-man scheme, isn't covering that position either. What that simply means is Fred then drops back, then tries to switch on, but instead of closing down that central space as he should do, he's too aggressive to try and go out wide and put pressure on the pass that's not even come from Andy Robertson out wide to, of course, Cody Gakpo. The big thing here is he needs to shut down the central space. He can't get played in behind because then it causes situations like we saw with Robertson finding Cody Gakpo in behind. Now we look at the situation now after the Fred mistake. Raphael Varane gets absolutely sent. Cody Gakpo does what he's done in the Eredivisie over and over again. Simply cuts inside, and you've got that similar problem. Because of the wide positioning of Casemiro, he's not in that standard Casemiro position that we expect, where he doubles up with the centre-back or doubles up with the full-back and simply stops the player cutting inside. There's space for Gakpo to cut in and get a shot away. There's a bit of a mix-up with Martinez and David De Gea. Martinez thinks De Gea is going to get it. De Gea thinks Martinez is going to get it, and it's very, very poor from Manchester United. And a really poor goal to concede, considering how well they played in phases at Anfield in that first half. And if you don't believe me about Fred's positioning being the error that leads to the goal, we'll have a look at one of the greatest midfielders of European football in Bastian Schweinsteiger. Obviously, his tweet about the first half, Liverpool being the better team, they're taking more risks and they're pressing against the ball and are rewarded with a goal. I disagree with that with Bastian Schweinsteiger, but his second point is absolutely spot on. Fred doesn't need to push too much to Gakpo. He just needs to close inside and let the ball be passed wide. World Cup ritual, never open the centre. And if we go back to that situation, Fred has basically massively opened the centre for Liverpool to exploit. There's a humongous area between Raphael Varane and Fred. And again, the defence could be a bit better. They could move over a little bit faster. That's been a little bit of a pressing situation that I've seen a few times this season when the ball switched against Manchester United. The fullback's super aggressive, but the rest of the back three aren't moving over in an aggressive manner. Same with the rest of the team. That needs to improve. That is work in progress for Erik Ten Hag, but it leads to the first goal that arguably opens up Manchester United to have a number of brain farts in the second half. So let's take a look at the first brain fart of the second half. The second goal, a hell of a lot of mistakes back to back to back. Number one, Manchester United should have taken the approach that they took at Wembley against Newcastle, playing over the first line of pressure and battling for the ball in the mid-block, then playing in the mid-block. Too many times Manchester United were trying to play out against one of the best pressing teams in recent years, and they got caught out. This is a prime example. Luke Shaw looking to move the ball inside following receiving off Lisandro Martinez. Again, this is relatively simple for Harvey Elliott to read and receive the ball, intercepting it, and then United have got a problem. They're in the build-up shape. They've got 5 players in their attacking positions, and Liverpool can break with Fabinho and Jordan Henderson. But Luke Shaw does make the initial error, but there's a lot of errors that come. Number one, Wout Weghorst's leg comes out, doesn't cleanly win the tackle. It breaks to Fabinho. He then bypasses Fred. Then it gets dead scrappy. Casemiro wins the ball back, but then loses it to Jordan Henderson. This is not what you want to do against Liverpool. Losing duels in this area of the pitch is absolutely criminal from Manchester United's central midfield. Fred had a very, very poor game, and Casemiro was also poor, compared to his high standards of this season. But losing those duels in midfield, 3 duels United have lost, Weghorst, Fred, then Casemiro, what are you going to do? Then Manchester United try and react. Raphael Varane tries to close the ball down, gets simply bypassed by a quick bit of passing play. Another player that standards have been very high this season, that were very, very poor at Anfield. From this position, you've got a massive issue for United as it breaks to Fabinho. You've got 2 players on the overload on the left-hand side. But still, you could deal with this situation. We've already seen 4 mistakes there from the midfield 3, from Luke Shaw. But again, it's another situation where Luke Shaw could simply clear the ball. Very poor from Luke Shaw. Ball ricochets to Harvey Elliott. Elliott to Darwin Núñez, goal time. This all comes from basically 5 mistakes. 2 from Luke Shaw, 1 from Weghorst, 1 from Fred, 1 from Casemiro, 1 from Varane. 6 mistakes in one move. Talking about your head falling off, it's pretty incredible. And to be in this situation now where you're 2 goals down at Anfield, what you don't want to do is commit too many bodies up the pitch. Liverpool are one of the best transitional teams in the world. One of the reasons why they've struggled this season is because they've had to be very possession focused because teams have been giving the ball. To commit your entire 11, apart from 3 players up the pitch, when you've just conceded a goal at Anfield, when you're trying to get back in the game, is so criminal. This is a move that Man United have basically broken into Liverpool's box. Bruno Fernandes, a lovely little fake shot, works his position in there. But to commit, your fullback, your 2 central midfielders, your attacking midfielder, both wingers into the penalty area, and your centre forward is only going to lead to trouble. You know that Liverpool are going to break. Casemiro looks to commit and tries to attack the ball on the edge of the box. But we could see you're basically giving Liverpool a 3v3. That is criminal at Anfield. And that is very much a player decision. This is why I think, you look at Erik Ten Hag and he says the players are unprofessional. This is unprofessional. This is not what Ten Hag wants. This is a poor rest defence. You're going 3v3 versus Liverpool. It's absolutely crazy. And United lose the ball on the edge of the box. And Cody Gakpo is in acres and acres of space. And he was the link man. He played the Roberto Firmino role down to an absolute T. And I think, looking at his signing in January, it's taken a bit of time for him to get to the point or the level that, Liverpool want him to. But right now he is there. But, allowing that counter-attack on, the bodies, we look at Liverpool as they break, simple ball in behind the fullback, we've got a 1v1 with Lisandro Martinez. Of course, it's very difficult to face up Mohamed Salah in the form that he was at Anfield. But, you look at the statistics. Lisandro Martinez has got one of the best percentages in terms of dribblers tackled in the Premier League. This was a moment where arguably he doesn't get beat, slips, but the pass and the vision and the movement of Cody Gakpo off the ball is simply sublime. Nobody's tracking Cody Gakpo. Anthony probably needs to have a bit of a word with himself because he lets Gakpo go. Gakpo doesn't get picked up by anyone, and the finish is absolutely sublime over David De Gea, who probably should not get beaten from that angle. And that's something that was, for a few of the goals, David De Gea probably should have saved. But it leads to a situation where Man United are 3-0 down after playing really well for 40 minutes because of individual mistakes, a lack of concentration, a lack of adapting to the game plan that Ten Hag gave him. Again, really poor from United. So let's take a look, a little bit more detail of that first half, because there were moments for Manchester United. The frustration was that a lot of those moments were dropping to Weghorst to play the pass. And that's something that I said going into the game. Bruno Fernandes had to play that position just because of his quality on the ball. United should have gone Jadon Sancho wide left, should have gone Bruno Fernandes as a number 10, Rashford as the 9, and Anthony. The big thing, as I mentioned previously, is that ability to spin in behind and be found by Bruno Fernandes. And that's something that Weghorst seemed to get into situations, 3 in the first half, where you've got Bruno Fernandes in that position, United are in behind. So let's take a look at those clips. So the first coming inside 3 minutes into the game. This was the first time that I saw this. It was the first time when I thought Bruno Fernandes has got to be playing number 10 here, confirming my pre-match thoughts. As we can see, Weghorst has received in the middle. He gets onto the loose ball and instantly looks for Rashford in behind. If Bruno Fernandes is playing that pass with his left foot, it's going to be a lot better than, of course, Wout Weghorst playing the ball over the top. He plays it and it's obviously not completed and it breaks through to Alisson. That's a situation that Bruno Fernandes thrives in. United not getting it right from a tactical perspective. Moving to the 19th minute, and something that we mentioned, United playing through the Liverpool midfield. At times you can catch them. This was a moment. Out of the back from David De Gea into Casemiro, who played some really intelligent passes at certain points, breaking the Liverpool lines. Are you telling me that Bruno Fernandes in this position doesn't have the ability to play that pass? The centre-back's been drawn out. You've got a 1v1 with Virgil van Dijk versus Marcus Rashford. There is only one winner right now, and that is the most informed player in the world right now in Marcus Rashford. The ball is poor, it's clipped, it should be on the ground, it's far too wide, it puts Rashford in a position where there's no way that he's going to get a shot off and he needs to look to create. But at the top of the screen we can see United's left wing and attacking midfielder joining the attack, 2v1 on Trent Alexander-Arnold. A better ball there, United getting behind the defence again. So that's on 3 minutes, so that's on 20 minutes where Bruno Fernandes' quality at number 10 would open up the door for United. Liverpool deal with that situation easily. Got another situation, again Weghorst at number 10, similar type of moment, a lot of space in front of the Liverpool defence. Rashford, little spin in behind, Bruno Fernandes makes that pass. There's another situation, 3 inside the first 25 minutes of the game, where United could have been in behind the Liverpool defence. And, we could take a look at another example. Weghorst again, looking to play forward. Another ball that you're looking at, Bruno could play that into the channel, in behind the defence for Rashford to finish off with his right foot on the right-hand side of the box. We've seen him do it time and time again. There's 4 inside 30 minutes of the match. Frustration. And we can see the quality. Look, they've got an example of the second half of Bruno Fernandes in number 10. And the quality of his outside of the boot pass in behind the defence. Rashford's clean through, rounds the keeper, hits the post. You know, this is the prime thing, the big mistake from Erik Ten Hag. And yes, the players made a lot of mistakes, and they are to blame. But Erik Ten Hag got it wrong with not starting Bruno Fernandes as the number 10. So there's some tactical analysis of where it went wrong for Manchester United. You know, it was a day that Liverpool were absolutely brilliant. I think the big thing from an average position perspective, we can clearly see the diamond in the midfield there with number 19, Harvey Elliott, Fabinho 3, Henderson 14, of course, Cody Gakpo leading that diamond 18. Liverpool were kind of right-sided in this game, and that really opened up United. It pulled Casemiro wide, opened up that number 10 area. You know, you probably got to give Mohamed Salah the man of the match, but Cody Gakpo's tactical role was so important to unlock the door against Manchester United. United were poor throughout. There wasn't one performance I thought was good. David De Gea especially was awful. Liverpool only had 8 shots on target, and they conceded 7 goals. De Gea made 1 save in the game. And if we actually take a look at the stats, David De Gea conceded an extra 3.1 goals according to post-shot expected goals. And actually, if you look at his post-shot expected goals this season in the Premier League, only 3 keepers have got a worse record than David De Gea. And they're the goalkeepers of Bournemouth, Southampton and Leeds United, who are all in the bottom 3 of the Premier League. This summer is massive for Man United buying a ball-playing goalkeeper, which is big. But also highlights that the side at the moment, there's still holes in the team. At this top level, there's question marks over the likes of Fred, Wout Weghorst, David De Gea, Raphael Varane, Luke Shaw. All were very poor at Anfield. So work to be done in the summer. But you've got to remember, a little bit of sanity. It's Erik Ten Hag's first season at Manchester United. He's already won 1 trophy. He's in the quarter-final of the Europa League, the FA Cup. The top 4 looks absolutely set. And when you kind of take into consideration that United's squad last season was awful, the work that he's done, the good work he's managed to do, you've got to really, back the guy. This is one blip in a massive successful season. And, an Erik Ten Hag quote, a coach can't work magic. It's going to take time for Manchester United. There was, humongous issues for United, but you've got to look at the positive work United have already done. And take into consideration, the United have conceded 16 goals in 3 Premier League away games this season. That, of course, is against 6 against City, 3 against Arsenal, 7 against Liverpool. 45.7% of their 35 Premier League goals conceded have come in these 3 games. So you're looking at United, the improvement. No teams conceded fewer goals at home than United in the Premier League with 8. There is humongous, points of positivity in this team. One blip doesn't cost the season. Bring on Real Betis, bring on a reaction. And to be quite frank, it could give a couple of these players a kick up the arse that they need. So let's move on to Arsenal. Arsenal came back from 2 goals down against Bournemouth in the Premier League. A brilliant performance and a man-of-the-match display off the bench from Reiss Nelson, who is becoming the clutch guy for Arsenal. He's been directly involved in a goal every 15 minutes in the Premier League this season. That is humongous for Arsenal. His work for the second goal, the assist for Ben White, was simply sublime. The volley at the end on the 97th minute to win the game for the Gunners is massive and is worth its weight in gold right now. Arsenal were good. They dominated the game. They had 80% possession, 31 shots, 17 corner kicks. For me, this was just about it coming and being committed, and I think it shows the quality that Arteta has got as a manager, the belief that he's got within the players. I quite like the use of Gabriel Martinelli as a number 9 as well. I thought he did really well linking the play, getting on the ball in those central areas, always offering off the line. I thought that Thomas Partey back in the team was big. Odegaard with another sensational performance, 104 touches of the football, 3 chances created, had a whopping 11 shots and completed 2 out of 2 of his dribbles. Some of his movement off the line to receive was brilliant to link the play. But actually, guys, I want to take a look at the 3rd fastest goal in Premier League history at 9.11 seconds from Billing. Set pieces, they aren't just free kicks, throw-ins, corner kicks anymore. It's also kickoff. So let's break down that first goal from Billing that opened up the scoring inside a minute. What I love from this is it's very much a set piece. With Bournemouth stacking the left-hand side of the pitch, what teams tend to do in the Premier League is drop the ball back, stack one side of the pitch, flood bodies over there, look to win that second ball. Arsenal is set. They've moved their shape over to their right-hand side to deal with that overload for Bournemouth. But what Bournemouth do is they actually go to the underloaded side of the pitch, attack there and create from that moment. And I really like the tactics from Gary O'Neill and the Bournemouth staff here, and it's probably something that we might see a little bit more in the Premier League. Bournemouth scored another goal this season with a similar set-piece routine from kickoffs, and it's kind of an evolution of tactics. So what we see from this, obviously, this is probably going to be on triggers. Bournemouth are going to shift to one side. If Arsenal react that way, then they can move this play, with Bournemouth taking kickoff and then instantly moving it to the right-hand side of their shape. And we can clearly see that Bournemouth have got bodies on their left-hand side. Arsenal reacted with the right-hand side. Their shapes moved over. But what this gives Bournemouth is a really easy way to progress the play. Otara's out wide. He's going to receive the ball in acres and acres of space. And that is the idea. You know, this is the possession thing that Pep Guardiola, that Mikel Arteta do with possession of the football. They overload one side of the pitch, they draw you over, and then they hit you on the underloaded side in a 1v1 that's a superiority 1v1 where you've got a winger, a dynamic winger versus a fullback. This happened for Bournemouth. The switch comes in. Atara's first touch is very, very good. Atara drives to the final third, and we can see Solanke highlighted, pointing where he wants the ball. The space between Gabriel and Zinchenko is absolutely massive. And I think this is where it comes in a bit of a set piece, a routine that's been done. Again, Billing scores the goal, but I think it's supposed to be for Solanke on that near post. But I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's something we might see a little bit more evolution in the Premier League. Right now, Atara plays the ball with his right foot. Solanke gets across Gabriel, but doesn't get contact on the football, and Billing comes in at the back post. I think this is a fantastic set piece. You know, overloading one side, underloading the other side, allowing a winger to run 1v1 at a fullback from kickoff when they're not up to speed with the game. It's brilliant tactics from Gary O'Neill, but unfortunately, Bournemouth didn't get any points from this game. And it is Arsenal that sit top of the Premier League on 63 points, 5 ahead of Manchester City. Manchester City, of course, beat Newcastle 2-0 in a brilliantly mature performance again from Phil Foden. His goal was absolutely sensational on the dribble. The touches, the finish, absolutely sublime. We're seeing City be a little bit better defensively, but one issue for them right now is the form of Kevin De Bruyne. For me, he's been awful in the past few weeks. In this game, had 0 shots on target, only completed 1 out of his 7 crosses in the game, lost possession of the football 17 times and was dribbled past twice in the match. The big thing for me was the impact that Bernardo Silva made off the bench, the intensity, the pressing, instantly improved Manchester City. He scored a wonderful goal, linking with Erling Haaland, getting around Erling Haaland, which is something that Kevin De Bruyne doesn't. I think right now for Manchester City, their best 11 is the 11 they started with, but with Bernardo Silva instead of Kevin De Bruyne, which is pretty incredible to say for a player that's been one of the best attacking midfielders in the history of the Premier League. Right now, he is just bang out of form. But looking at that title race, again, it is advantage to Arsenal. I think they've shown in recent weeks real good fighting quality. The comeback against Aston Villa, the comeback against Bournemouth. It is Arsenal's to lose right now, but I think with the squad depth, with how they're playing, with Gabriel Jesus set to come back, Arsenal are simply going to win the Premier League. But anyway, guys, what do you think? Will Arsenal win the Premier League? And what went wrong for Manchester United? Let's just forget about that. Roll on, Real Betis. Check out SofaScore. Subscribe if you're new. And we'll see you later.